So you want to love yourself, but you don't know how. Maybe you don't even know where to start. You know, we hear about self-love a lot in this day and age. It's in the music we listen to.
You should go and love yourself.
It's in the TikToks we watch.
Love yourself a little bit more than yesterday.
My God, RuPaul brings it up in every episode.
You can't love yourself. If you can't love yourself,
You can't love yourself.
if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Loving yourself sounds awesome when you know how to do it, but some of us genuinely don't know how. So today, I'm going to teach you a very practical way to love yourself by dating yourself. And there are 5 dates that you can go on to get there. I learned about this technique during my 13 years of being single, and it is probably one of the most impactful things that I've learned in my entire life. And the act of loving yourself is something that I want for everyone. And I truly, honestly believe that you can love yourself at any stage of your life, whether you are at your lowest low or your highest high. Loving yourself is the foundation through which you can experience so much joy, happiness, and fulfillment in your life. And that is what I want for you. So if you want to love yourself, but you just don't know how, this one's for you. So before we get into it, I think it's really important for us to discuss what self-love is, because it sounds very abstract. It sounds like something that you hear in a yoga class and not necessarily in practice. So here's the thing. Self-love is not a destination. Self-love is an internal state. It's a sense of self-knowing. And more than anything, it's a practice, one that's reflected in your everyday thoughts and actions. It isn't a trophy that you put on your bookcase. You never really accomplish or finish accomplishing the sense of self-love. It's just something that you know you've reached internally. And because self-love is a sense of self-knowing, it's really an ever-growing experience. We are always going to be growing, changing, and expanding. So we're always going to be learning, uncovering, and discovering parts of ourselves that we didn't know existed. So it's an ever-growing process, and it's an evolution. It's about the journey, babe, not the destination. So when we talk about loving yourself, what we're really talking about is knowing yourself, and then choosing the thoughts and actions that align with who you know yourself to be, or more importantly, who you want to be. So if loving yourself is really knowing yourself, then how do we get to know ourselves? You date yourself, just like you would date another person. So think about it like this. When you are falling in love with another person, it starts by spending time with them. You're getting to know their thoughts, feelings, and values, learning who they are deep down inside. So why would getting to know yourself be any different? So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to date ourselves to know ourselves. And there are 5 dates that you can go on to learn how to love yourself. Let's break them down. So the first date is a self-care date. Now, I know you know what self-care is, but I want to reframe how you might be thinking about it, because this isn't eating a salad, taking a shower, or going to the gym. This isn't doing something that's technically self-care that lives on your task list. The self-care date is about nurturing your physical body, allowing yourself to decompress and relax, and doing something that feels luxurious. And notice how I said feels here, because it's an internal state. It's not a price tag. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive. And more importantly, the self-care date is about a state of being rather than doing. A lot of us have completely disconnected from that part of ourselves. We are so busy producing, performing, and taking care of others that we've forgotten how to nurture ourselves and be in a state of receiving. And the self-care date is how we come back to that. Give yourself a bubble bath. Put on a face mask. Get your nails done. Play a spicy audiobook and unwind. Hey babe, It's self-care. My absolute favorite self-care date is a luxurious night in. I make a whole production out of it. I take an everything shower, I lotion my entire body, I'll slip into some silky pajamas, put on a face mask. There are so many ways that you can pamper yourself. You can get a massage, get a facial, a wax, but it doesn't have to be expensive. And for the baddie on a budget, I have an Amazon link of my self-care essentials in the description, so check that out if you're interested in treating yourself. Most importantly, the key to the self-care date is the intention behind it. You're not just passing time, you're telling yourself, I matter. My needs matter. I'm worthy of showing up for, and I'm worthy of abundance. That message repeated over time is going to rewire how you see yourself and how you show up for yourself, aka how you love yourself. And speaking of self-care, not only did I recently read Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I also listened to the dramatized audio. And let me tell you, nothing says self-care more than putting on your headphones and listening to a sexy movie in your mind. Graphic Audio took the audiobook experience to the next level with sound effects, dramatic music, and narration from a full cast of voice actors. Which is why I just have to recommend you give ACOTAR's Dramatized Audio a listen on your next self-care date, whether you've read the books or not. And the best part is, it's available on Audible, and I have an affiliate link in the description for you to listen to the book for free. And if romantasy isn't your thing, you'll be happy to know Audible doesn't just have fairy smut in its arsenal. Subscribers have access to over 1 million titles, and you retain access to your claimed titles for as long as you are a member. So whether you're a seasoned audiobook file or just beginning to explore the world of audiobooks, check out my link in the description for a free 30-day trial and show yourself a little self-care. The second date is going to be the friend date. And yes, spending time with friends counts as self-care. Here's why. We as humans are social creatures. Our interpersonal connections are essential for our well-being. And you know, I know this video is about how to love yourself, but it's not all about you, babe. If we only spend time thinking about ourselves, it's gonna turn us into like crazy narcissists or something. Put your attention on someone else. Show others love. Let the excess love you feel within you spill onto the other relationships in your life. Because here's the thing, relationships are like mirrors. They help you see yourself more clearly. And what I mean by that is, have you ever hung out with someone and thought, man, I just love being around them. Every time I'm with them, I tell the funniest jokes. I'm so caring and giving and kind. I'm so patient and full of love. And we just have so much fun being with each other. They get me. We vibe. Well, what's happening is you're actually experiencing yourself through their presence. And you're remembering, I'm hilarious. I'm so much fun to be around. I have so much love to give. I love who I am. A healthy relationship will drive, inspire, and champion self-love. It's a safe space for you to grow, heal, and be vulnerable. And a healthy relationship reminds you how amazing you are even when you don't feel it. So give yourself the space to spend time with those who lift you up and make you feel seen and loved and cared for. You know, grab some coffee and talk about your week. Listen to music while waiting in In-N-Out's drive-thru line. Question the meaning of life over wine at 2 a.m. A good friendship is good for the soul. The third date is going to be the artist date. This is something that I recently started to pick up after reading The Artist's Way. And this is a date with your inner artist, your inner child, whatever makes you feel the most creatively expressive. The artist date is all about tapping into your childish creativity. This is the date that allows you to marvel at something like it's the first time you've seen it. It's where you can creatively express yourself without worrying about the expectation or the end result. The artist date is fun play, it's creative expression. It's you tapping into and playing with your inner child. This can look like drawing at home, getting a coloring book and scribbling outside the lines. It can be going to a botanical garden and literally just looking at a flower and marveling at its beauty. The artist date can be you picking up a hobby you haven't touched in years. When was the last time you rollerbladed? And most importantly, it's about doing something just for the sake of having fun. Doing something out of pure joy in your heart. I recently finished The Artist's Way, and it was one of the most impactful programs I've ever done. It's why I'm creating this video here today. So if you're interested in watching any of the videos, I'll put the playlist somewhere up here for you to enjoy. Now, the fourth date, I'm gonna warn you, is probably going to be the hardest date of them all. This is going to be the solo date. The solo date is where you literally get dressed up and take yourself out on a date. I'm talking everything you would do with a romantic partner except for yourself and by yourself. And I know this is the scariest one. And let me ask you something. Why? Why are we so afraid to go out alone? What is it about being seen by ourselves that makes us feel so uncomfortable? Well, as women, there's a very real safety concern, right? I don't want to gloss over that. Be careful and be smart. But mentally, there is a thought we have that being alone in public isn't a choice. Whenever we see someone out in public, we project this thought onto them that they must not have anyone to hang out with. And so we think that being out alone means you are lonely and unlovable. And to avoid that, sometimes we'll surround ourselves with unfulfilling relationships and we'll settle for less than we deserve because we think it's better than being alone. But isn't that exactly what this whole process of self-love is countering? We're not lonely because we're enjoying our own company, and we're not unlovable because we're loving ourselves. We're literally in the process of falling in love with ourselves. And here's the thing, self-love is often a very private experience. It mostly exists in reflection, in solitude, and oftentimes from the comfort of your own home, in your safe space. But you know, we don't exist in a vacuum. We don't exist within the four corners of our bedroom alone. And sometimes when we get too comfortable with showing ourselves love in hermit mode, we don't know how to take that energy into the external environment. So what'll happen is when we're alone, we feel we can be our true selves. And then when we're out in public, we might feel the need to mask ourselves, to show a version of ourselves to the world that we think other people will love as well. The solo date teaches you not only how to be comfortable in your own presence, but how to be authentically you in the world. So here's what you're going to do on these solo dates. Literally everything that your ideal dream partner in your mind would do for you, you are going to do for yourself. If you love flowers and you would love it if someone that you are dating were to get you flowers before a date, you're literally going to buy yourself flowers. You're also going to get dressed up. This isn't like you going to Subway in your sweats. This is like you literally going on a date with yourself. So show up how you would expect a date to show up. And then you're going to take yourself out on an adventure and just enjoy your own company. That's the most important thing with the solo date. This is you enjoying your own company, and you just happen to be outside. No matter what you do on these solo dates, I recommend you put your phone away. Don't just use your phone to distract you maybe from any uncomfortableness that you feel during this date. Let yourself sink into that sensation and really feel it and ask yourself, Why do I feel uncomfortable right now? What makes me feel uncomfortable about being alone? One of the best solo dates you can go on, especially in the beginning, if this is very intimidating for you, is to go to the movies. It's dark in there. Like, no one is looking at you. No one cares. And if you're currently single and you're hoping to get into a relationship, I'm telling you, these solo dates are actually going to recalibrate your expectations for what you expect in a partner. And when you learn how to love yourself aside from your romantic relationships, it will improve the quality of relationships that you attract into your life. Guaranteed. The last date that we're gonna go through today is my personal favorite, and it's probably the most important. This is the God date. I wanna put a little asterisk here because you can call this whatever resonates best with you. It can be the higher self date, the soul date, the spiritual date, the universe date, the science date. It literally doesn't matter. What does matter is you are spending time to connect with something greater than yourself. This is where you zoom all the way out from your to-do list, your life, your relationships, your plans, and you just remember that you are a tiny little speck of dust on a floating rock. For me, this looks like hiking. It looks like being in nature. It looks like marveling at the magnanimity of the universe. Sometimes it's meditation. Sometimes it's yoga. Sometimes it's reading Pinterest quotes. What's happening when we go on these God dates is we're really tapping into the greatest part of ourselves. And this date connects you to the part of yourself that has always been whole. The part of yourself that has never been broken. The part of yourself that doesn't need to be fixed or improved or chosen by someone to feel valuable. And when you spend time in that place of quiet grounding, you start to become familiar with that sensation of loving yourself. And then you truly start to know when you've done it. You've fallen in love with yourself and you love yourself. So those are the 5 dates that you can go on to love yourself by dating yourself. And there are a few helpful hints I want to provide on how you can make this a force in your life. For the frequency of these dates, I recommend on going on 1 date a week. Now, you might be thinking in your mind, I just don't have time for this. And honestly, I want to bring it back to this. Self-love is not a destination, it's a practice. And dedicating time to yourself is one of the many ways that we are able to practice self-love. So make the time, babe. When we put other people, things, and circumstances as a priority over our basic needs, we are essentially telling ourselves, I'm not worthy of the time, care, and attention. And if someone else were treating you like that, you would dump their ass. So start small. It doesn't matter if you go on 1 date every month, so long as you are intentionally setting aside time to take care of your needs and spend quality time with yourself. The second tip is on tracking. This will also help you with frequency. I highly recommend marking on your calendar or your habit tracker every time you go on one of these dates. You might notice I've been on a lot of friend dates recently, but not a lot of solo dates. So maybe I should prioritize that. Because like with everything, it's all about balance, and each one of these dates is designed to help you connect with a different part of yourself to love. The tracking is going to keep you honest and it's going to keep you balanced. I have a habit tracking system that I've been living by for years, so I'll put the video that I'm going to create sometime soon somewhere up here, down here, when it comes out for you to check out if you're interested. Regarding the solo date, if you're most nervous about this date, I recommend starting smaller than you might think and then building up steam. Go to a coffee shop with a book and just read. And for the last tip, bundle some of these. These dates don't need to be mutually exclusive. Take a special yoga class and then go out to lunch. Then you're hitting your self-care, your God, and your solo date all in one. So here's what I want to leave you with. Self-love isn't a destination, It's a practice. Self-love exists in a series of choices, and these dates are the practice. It's how you can show up for yourself and show yourself unconditional love. These dates are how you treat yourself like someone who's worth loving, because you are. So this week, pick a date to go on, put it in your calendar, show up, and just see what happens. And let me know in the comments which date you're gonna start out with, or maybe which date you went on and how it went. I wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this video. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. And I really hope you get something useful out of this video that helps you love yourself a bit deeper. And hey, since you made it this far, we're practically besties. Go ahead, drop a like and a subscribe, and let me know your experience in the comments, because yeah, I read them, babe. I genuinely want to know, and I'd love for you to share your insight as well. All right. Have a great day.